A mysterious space probe, adrift and forgotten in the void of space, is retrieved by a group of hyper-intelligent, godlike alien beings known as the Galactic Council. The probe contains a repository of human knowledge and culture, art, science, history, philosophy, and mundane snippets of daily life. The aliens, amused and disturbed by the chaotic and contradictory nature of humanity, convene to judge Earth's worthiness. Their ethics are alien in the truest sense. They prize strength, domination, and ruthlessness, interpreting compassion, humility, and self-sacrifice as moral failings. For them, Earth is on trial, and the sentence could be total annihilation. As a final test, they select one random human at complete chance and grant them the power to do absolutely anything, a gift of unlimited cosmic potential. After 10 Earth days, if this individual uses their power for what the Council deems evil, the Earth will be destroyed. That chosen human is Neil Clarke, an unremarkable schoolteacher living in London. Neil's life is a series of humiliations and frustrations. He is disrespected by his students, crushed under the thumb of headmaster Mr. Robinson, and hopelessly in love with his neighbor, Catherine West, a book editor who seems light years out of his league. Neil's existence is a bleak, repetitive cycle of failure and meek acceptance, embodying humanity's struggle between aspiration and limitation. One particularly exasperating day, in a moment of pure, idle frustration, Neil mutters that he wishes aliens would destroy the classroom of particularly troublesome students. Unseen by him, an alien spaceship instantly vaporizes the classroom and everyone in it. The randomness and enormity of the act are shocking, and Neil is bewildered. At first dismissing it as coincidence, he begins to test the boundaries of his abilities. The realization dawns: Neil can do absolutely anything by simply wishing for it and gesturing with his hand. Here, the film begins to explore one of its central themes, the intoxicating, almost childlike allure of omnipotence and the rapid descent into chaos when it is wielded without foresight. Neil, far from grappling with the moral responsibility of his powers, uses them for personal convenience and petty revenge. He wishes to be admired, respected, wealthy, and most tellingly, loved by Catherine. His wishes, though powerful, are often imprecise, leading to unintended consequences, a commentary on the human tendency to oversimplify complex desires and underestimate the outcomes of impulsive actions. When he tries to undo the classroom explosion and the death of his students, Neil wishes that everyone who died come back to life. This resurrects every dead human on Earth, plunging London into a zombie apocalypse. Realizing the horror, he frantically wishes it all undone, and time rewinds, nullifying all his previous wishes. This moment encapsulates the narrative's critique of human short-sightedness and the hubris of playing God. Power without wisdom results in disaster. Neil's best friend, Ray, is another conduit for the film's exploration of wish-fulfillment fantasy. Shy and timid, Ray is infatuated with Miss Pringle, a fellow teacher. Neil, ever the enabler, uses his powers to make Miss Pringle worship Ray. However, the wish spirals into fanaticism, with Miss Pringle forming a cult around Ray, venerating him as a literal deity. This exaggerated outcome mocks the romanticized notion of being unconditionally adored, showing how such power distorts authentic relationships into dangerous delusions. In a moment of loneliness and frustration, Neil grants his dog Dennis the ability to speak. Dennis, voiced with eager loyalty, becomes Neil's sole confidant. His simplistic, unfiltered perspective provides comic relief but also reflects a deeper thematic thread, the contrast between human complexity and animal purity. Dennis, free from ego and ambition, represents untainted loyalty and selflessness, a stark foil to Neil's erratic and self-serving behavior. One evening, Neil wishes Catherine would love him, but the cosmic power glitches, failing to execute the wish. Fate intervenes. Catherine, having had a difficult day, knocks on Neil's door, seeking company. They spend a tender night together, which Neil misinterprets as the result of his powers. Here, the film subtly examines the theme of consent and authenticity. Neil's desire to be loved is relatable, but his reliance on power to manufacture affection reveals his insecurity and inability to engage in genuine human connection. Catherine's ex-boyfriend, Colonel Grant, a paranoid, obsessive figure, witnesses Neil and Catherine together and spirals into a jealous rage. His investigation into Neil's odd behavior leads to a confrontation where Neil accidentally reveals his powers by breaking Grant's arm and instantly healing it. Grant, recognizing the potential for exploitation, kidnaps Neil, gags him, and begins forcing him to grant absurd, self-serving wishes, giving all pale English people duck feet and massive ears, making police wear pink uniforms, and eventually demanding ultimate power and wealth. Catherine and Ray stage a rescue, arriving just in time. Grant rushes to get Neil to make Catherine fall in love with him. Catherine then forces herself on Grant, giving Neil adequate time to break free. Neil, regaining control, reverses all the wishes, including Miss Pringle's fanatical cult worship of Ray, which was about to culminate in Ray's ritual sacrifice. The damage to Neil's personal relationships, however, is profound. Catherine, having witnessed the extent of Neil's manipulations, confronts him. She accuses him of trying to control others, of abusing his powers to create a reality that suits his desires. Her rejection of Neil is a critical turning point, confronting the illusion that power can replace genuine emotional connection or personal growth. It underscores the theme that true love and respect must be earned, not conjured. As Grant escapes, Neil, in a final act of vengeance, wishes that Grant would understand what it feels like to be helpless and selfish, transforming him into a corgi dog. Grant, now permanently stuck as a dog, is taken in by Catherine's neighbor Fenella, a detail that underscores the film's playful tone and its emphasis on karmic justice. Shaken, Neil resolves to use his powers selflessly, to fix the world. He wishes that everyone has all the food they want, that wars cease entirely, that every person owns a dream home, and that global warming reverses. However, these well-intentioned wishes lead to global chaos, rampant obesity due to endless food, war breaking out for no reason since wars, for any reason, are forbidden, overpopulation from everyone owning property, and a catastrophic ice age due to overcorrecting global warming. This segment reflects the naive way of utopian thinking, showing that complex global issues cannot be solved with simple fixes. It reflects on humanity's interconnectedness and the unintended consequences of even the most altruistic interventions. Defeated and consumed by guilt, Neil attempts to end his life by jumping into the Thames. However, Dennis, unconditionally loyal, leaps in after him, forcing Neil to save them both. This act of selflessness jolts Neil into clarity. Dennis, who has no selfish desires, suggests taking on the powers himself. Neil agrees, transferring the cosmic ability to Dennis. Meanwhile, the Galactic Council concludes its judgment. Observing Neil's attempts at kindness and peace, they declare him, and thus Earth, evil, as per their inverted morality. Compassion, in their eyes, is weakness. They launch a doomsday weapon to annihilate Earth. But Dennis, now wielding omnipotence, wishes for the source of power itself to be destroyed. The energy reflects back, destroying the aliens and saving the planet. With the powers gone, Neil finds renewed confidence. The next morning, he asks Catherine out, not as a powerful being, but as himself, and she accepts. In a final twist, Dennis still retains his powers, having only destroyed the source, not the abilities, hinting at further adventures and the resilience of true loyalty. Absolutely Anything weaves themes of power, responsibility, human fallibility, and the value of genuine relationships into a comedic narrative. It satirizes the fantasy of absolute control, showing that true fulfillment comes not from dominance or wish fulfillment but from authenticity, humility, and connection. Through Neil's journey from selfishness to self-awareness, the film asks what it truly means to be good in a universe where even gods are morally alien.